Hello and welcome to the Literary Lair. Everyone has pet peeves, and there are pet peeves for literally everything, including when people say literally too much. But what about ones involving books? There are a lot of things in books that do annoy me, on the outside and on the inside, so let's look at some of them. Here are my top 10 book pet peeves. Books with multiple about the author pages. This one is really minor, but it baffles me. Why are there multiple about the author pages? There's one on the dust jacket and then in the back of the book. Why do we need two? And if you want to tell me, oh, it's in case you lose the dust jacket, so you'll still have an about the author page. Exactly. There's one on the inside anyway. Why do we need the one on the outside? Just so it's in color? I can live with a black and white image. Books that use the movie poster as a cover. Another minor, yet annoying one. The whole thing about the book is that it has a special cover, and then the movie, with subsequent home video releases, have their own special covers. I don't want a cover of The Hobbit with Martin Freeman on it. I want The Lonely Mountains. I get that it's brand recognition for people who read the book based on seeing the movie, but if the only addition out is the movie poster cover, I don't want the book. I have held off on getting books I wanted since I wanted an actual cover and not a movie poster. Especially when the movie just wasn't as good and I don't want to be reminded of it. Books with reviews on the back instead of a blurb. This one is a little more major. When I see a book, I want to know what it's about. And what doesn't help me is on the back of the book, instead of having a blurb, it has a bunch of reviews. Praise for this book, praise for another book the author wrote, but no summary. Hardcover books usually get both with the blurb and the book jacket, but paperbacks sometimes just get the reviews. And that's not good. Books in a series that are different sizes. Okay, so I have this one series, a Star Trek one called Errand to Fury, and there are 3 books, and the first book looks like this, and the third one looks like this, and the second one looks like this. The second book towers over the others. It's like the middle child who ended up being way taller than the older brother and is obviously taller than the youngest. Plus, it puts the book 2 marking slightly over the other 2, and it's annoying to look at on my shelf. All my other series, like Quantum Leap or the Target Doctor Who novelizations, are the same size relatively. So why not these? Not to mention the third one throws off the color scheme, being purple instead of red like the other 2. Books that don't fit on a regular bookshelf. This annoys the crap out of me. I have a bookcase, and it fits most of my books. Then you have the ones that are too good for the shelf, that don't fit right. And it's annoying because I want them on the shelf, because I don't have room for them anywhere else, but they just don't fit. So I have to lay them sideways, taking up more space than it would if they would just be small enough to fit on the shelf. And then we have books that barely fit, like The Hitchhiker's Guide. It fits just close enough that it doesn't have to go on its side, but the downside is that in order to take it out and read it, I have to take all the other books on that side out and pry it out like it's melted to the shelf. Make regular-sized books! And comic strip books like Dumbing of Age get a pass, because the panels are horizontal, and so it has to be that way. And plus, it fits up top on the shelf where I can display it. Same with trade paperbacks of comic series, since that's how the comic issues are sized. But for regular books, make them fit in the shelf! Hardcover editions and paperback editions being released at different times. Why? Not everyone wants or can afford hardcover editions. For example, the book Red Shirts that I have, the hardcover edition of, didn't have its paperback edition released for 6 months after the hardcover edition was. Now I know that Kindle editions are released right when the hardcover is, but not everyone has or likes Kindle editions of books. I prefer print books because I like to have something to hold and flip pages for. I have a Nook, but it's not my primary source of reading. I mainly use it for older books that are just easier to find in ebook form, not new books that just came out. Books with boring covers. I have seen too many bland and boring covers on this show. I know the old adage is never judge a book by its cover, but come on, everybody does. I have bought books solely based on their cover. Like this one that I haven't even read yet, Krondor the Assassins. Why? Because the cover looks awesome. But Before Dishonor, Backward, Star Trek That Which Divides, the Quantum Leap novels, the list goes on. Bland, boring covers as far as the eye can see. I buy books based on either my want to read them or the cover, so make better covers, damn it. And for those who say the others are minimalist, a cover with not much going on can be awesome. Like Valhalla. That cover is amazing, and it just has a Tikari on the cover. Reminds me, I'm gonna get to finishing that book. Now that we've handled my issues with the outside of the book, let's take a look at some pet peeves of what's written inside. Books that are based on television shows and movies that just make me want to watch the show or the movie. During 2 reviews of mine, one of the Red Dwarf novel Backwards, and one of the barely a Star Trek TNG novel Before Dishonor, I noticed a trend. Both books had references to the television versions of their respective shows, with Backwards referencing the International Emmy-winning Gunmen of the Apocalypse, and Before Dishonor referencing a few famous and popular Star Trek episodes like The Doomsday Machine and The Best of Both Worlds. But I found myself wanting to put the book down and go watch those episodes because they just kept referencing them and reminding me how much more I liked those episodes than I enjoyed the book. If you're writing a book, your goal should not be make me watch the TV show instead of reading your book. Prophecies and Chosen One plotlines. Okay, a lot of books do this, and it's gotten sort of annoying. You have books that do it well, like Legends by Marie Lu, where 2 characters were special and dangerous to the government, but there is an abundance of it being done, and frankly, it's been done too much. It's been done in Harry Potter, it's been done in Lord of the Rings, it's been done for the past century. Come up with new plot ideas. Good authors writing bad books. Everyone is allowed an off day. Not even I'm 100% all of the time. Some videos just frankly don't work. But it kills me inside when an author that I know is good writes a terrible book. Peter David, the guy who wrote Before Dishonor, which I needed 2 videos to explain how bad it sucked, and what an utter betrayal it was to the characters that I loved, and to the show that I loved, also wrote this book, Q Squared. And this is one of my favorite Star Trek books I've ever read. Maybe even one of my favorite books in general. And I didn't show it in the video, but it killed me inside to have to rant and rave about how terrible this was, when I wanted to throw praise and shout from the rooftops how good this book is. I know it didn't seem like it, but that review, while being one of my favorites to make, is also one that I didn't want to have to do. I wanted Before Dishonor to be one of those books that everybody hates, but I enjoyed. But alas no, it was complete and utter crap. It sucked. I have not opened it since that review, and for good reason. Like I said, everyone is allowed an off day, but an off book? Same thing with Rob Grant, author of the Red Dwarf novel Backwards. Along with Doug Naylor, Rob Grant created Red Dwarf, and what they worked on together, the first 6 series, are among the best that show has to offer. Light years ahead of the later series as much as I enjoy them. The sum of their parts was greater than either of them were individually, at least in regards to Red Dwarf. But Naylor was able to make a good book, and Grant failed to wow me with it. So what I'm trying to say is that I hate it when an author makes a book that I have to hate, even though I know that they can do so much better. And that was my top 10 book pet peeves. Do I have the same ones you do? Do you have different ones? Tell me in the comments. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. If you want to see more of the Literary Lair, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you like this video, share it to your friends and share it around. See you next time.